Hey, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for checking out this video. I want to talk about the roster for the Olympics for the women's national team in terms of how that looks for a starting 11. They've got a couple of games coming up before they head off for their first Olympic game. They've got Mexico, July 13th, Costa Rica on the 16th, and then their first group stage game in the Olympics is on July 25th against Zambia. So we've got the 18. How's that going to look for an 11? Alyssa Nair is healthy. She's obviously going to be the keeper. Here's how I'm thinking Emma's going to have her roster. Okay, I think with her only camp being the last one where they played South Korea twice. Smith, Rodman, and Swanson looked very good together. I think those will be the three players up top. Now, keep in mind, I don't know how often or if this lineup will be together just because of the fact that the Olympics is very different with only an 18-player roster and it's such a condensed time frame compared to, say, something like the World Cup. Everybody's going to need to play. Players are going to need rest because the turnaround is going to be so quick. But if you're playing, an England or a France or a Spain or someone like that, the Netherlands, and we're talking about the knockout rounds to get to the gold medal game or the gold medal game, I think this is your best lineup. So up top, Swanson, Smith, and Rodman. My only concern against the better teams like I mentioned, is whether or not there is enough variety up front in terms of the style of play, and that maybe you need more of a playmaker like a Jaden Shaw might get put in here instead, and then you go with two of these three, or even putting Macario at the nine instead of as an attacking mid to have more of a playmaker in there. Not that Smith, Swanson, or Rahman can't be playmakers, what I'm saying, but their styles are more similar than if you were to get someone like a Shaw or a Dunn or a Macario into that mix with two of those players. It changes things up a little bit. I think also one thing you'll see, and I think we saw a little bit of it against South Korea. I don't know if we'll see it as much for, say, Rodman, but for example, Mal is going to have. Why is this whole thing moving? Why can't I move my player? Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, we got to get rid of that. Okay. Um, is Mal will move more on the pitch. I don't know why she's not moving right now. I can't move her. That's really weird. But oh, do I have to lock it in? Is that what they're trying to do to me? Ah, there we go. But you saw this in South Korea a lot sometimes where you would get Mal moving around a little bit more dependent on where the ball is to create overloads in different areas as opposed to being predictable and always being out wide on the left. So I think you'll probably see a little bit of that. I think your three in the middle, I think it's going to be a six. You're going to have one defensive mid, and then you're going to have two more offensive minded mids. So I'm looking at Haran, Lavelle, and I think Coffee is her in that spot. She's played very well against South Korea in both games. She's going to be your defensive midfielder. I love Rose Lavelle. I think she's very, very creative, very skilled and technical with the ball. I think getting her on the ball a lot going forward is going to be really important for this team's success. And I have to tell you, please don't scream at me in the comments. Lindsay has been a staple of this team in the midfield for a long time, and she's still playing well. But if Macario is healthy, and I would think she should be, is, or they wouldn't have her on the roster. I would like to see her here a little more. I think she brings just a different type of an attacking presence to the pitch that Haran does not. And I think that would be an interesting dynamic to get Macario in here. I think the Alberta will fill in for Coffee as the other defensive center mid, like I said, with the condensed time frame of the Olympics and only an 18 player roster. Two of them are keepers. So right, so you're gonna see everyone. I think you're gonna see everyone. So you will between these three, you're gonna get Macario and Albert in there. Up top, you're gonna get Dunn and Shaw in there. And then I'm looking at the back four. Sonnet has played well, and she's been around for a long time, and she's been in that back four. So it wouldn't surprise me to see her start. But the reason I'm going with this, I think Niswanger played very, very well on this left side in the South Korean games. I think she did a great job of getting forward into the attack. She was getting balls into the box, not just deep, but from out here as well. I think that makes a big deal, especially when you have someone like Swanson on this side too, and the overloads that can create. Very, very big. I think you're going to see Davidson with her experience, and Germo's a fantastic center back will be in the middle. Fox has played very, very well on the right, so I think she'll be out here. She does the same thing, by the way. I tell you what, both Fox and Niswanger are very aggressive outside backs in terms of getting into the offensive third and creating overload. So that may be something that really helps this US team out, who have struggled in the past few years with the elevation of other teams around the world and how much better they play defensively, and they're also in better shape physically and condition. So that's not as big of an edge for the United States. And so they struggle when they as opposed to counterattacking, when they establish possession in the offensive third, they really struggle. And I think getting Fox and Niswanger involved in that and creating those overloads will go a long way. And one of the reasons I also lean towards Sonnet not starting is she is typically an outside back, although she has experience in the middle and she played there in the games against South Korea. I think what I'm looking at with only two other defenders, I think in general, you're going to have Casey Kruger is going to be that one that spells Niswanger and Fox to get them rest. And then Sonnet's going to be the one that rotates with Germa and Davidson in the middle. That's how I think it's going to look. I will say the biggest thing to me that I didn't get with this roster, I mean, overall, I don't really have complaints with it. Like I said, I had an issue with maybe being Morgan one of the forwards just because of, like I said, she hasn't been scoring goals, but she is a very good passer in the attacking third. And I think her as a facilitator with players like Swanson, Smith, and Rodman would be helpful. But that probably is not a huge thing. If I had to pick one thing, it would be I was surprised that Staub did not get named to the roster as a center back with the way she has played in the NWSL. But it is what it is. I'm gonna leave it there. I think this is the 11. Like I said, it'll probably switch up a lot as the Olympics go because of the nature of the Olympic event. But I think like this is the 11. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Is there anything that stands out that you think is going to be different? Any way that they're going to use certain players in the attack and so forth? But yeah, I think this is what Emma Hayes is going to go with. And I appreciate everyone checking out this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. And I will talk to you later.